Shalom, first and foremost. I want to give all praise, glory, and honor unto Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Harakakadash. And I would also like to give a double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who do rule well that have taught me this truth. And I would also like to say a sincere shalom unto the hopeful elect, unto the scattered elect, unto the servants, the prophets, the brothers who are out there prophesying, laboring in this truth, in this doctrine, risking their lives. To do so unto you, I say shalom. They're always getting a nigga to do their dirty work. All right. And this is no new thing under the sun. I'm surprised it's not the so-called black woman. All right. But they've used her. They used the so-called black. They've used all these people, Israelites, to defend them. Okay. And it just shows you that we're at the end, man, where Esau is being exposed, where they got to get Sambo niggas up here to start a task force to crack down on anti-Semitism. All right, and we're going to go into anti-Semitism, the word, where it came from, okay, because a lot of people are ignorant to just the word anti-Semitism. Because when they condition the minds of the people. When you hear anti-Semitism, you automatically think the so-called J. You can't say nothing about them. Okay, why is that? You can talk about anybody else, but you can't talk about them. You can say gook, you can say nigga, you can say spig, you can say all these so-called offensive derogatory terms toward various races, but you can't say nothing about them. Why is that? Okay? Because the world, they don't want the world to know who they really are. And at the end of the day, people don't care about them as much as they think. Okay? Where they have to have a task force for anti-Semitism or misinformation and whatever they call it. But like I said, they get a nigga. It's always some ex-preacher nigga to do their dirty work. Whether it's what's the lawyer nigga Crump, Jesse Jackson, an Al Sharpton type nigga, you know. But that's the spirit of Jake. The Jake did that during the time of the Romans. All right, with the Sadducees, the Pharisees, the Sadducees. These people, these Jakes, during those times, they didn't want to lose their position they didn't want to lose their position, whether it be in government, in the within the church. The same thing now. These niggas don't want to lose their position in government or their status in this life. All right, that's ruled by the Edomites. That's where Esau got these niggas under their thumb full time. All right, since the nationwide campaign using the FBI is being launched by the Trump administration to crack down on anti-Semitism. Okay, and this also goes into the famine of the word. All right, where you can't say nothing, you can't talk about this, you can't read the Bible. Therefore, when these prophecies really begin to happen, all right, the mark of the beast, World War III, famine, pestilence. All right, no, you won't have anyone to reprove you. You won't have any answers. What you will have is a nigga like this that's gonna rock you back to sleep. That's gonna keep you niggas in darkness. All right, it says the task force to combat anti-Semitism will send officials from the Justice Department to 15 U.S. cities it believes has failed to properly protect their Jewish communities. Like I said, no one cares about these people. You see these people out there, you like, hey, these people weird as fuck. Excuse my language. They weird as hell. All right, they look weird. All right, they you know, they're like this the super oddball, and people don't even bother to say anything to them. You have a few people that may say certain things, but people don't care about them as much as they think they do. Okay, but they want to cover. Esau's trying to cover all everything. All right, well, you know, because the truth is coming out. The truth is out there. You can't say nothing about them. Okay, you can't talk about this. You can't talk about Gaza. You can't say anything. They got certain trigger words where we have to be mindful of their feelings. Or who the hell is being mindful of the so-called Negro, Latinos, Native Americans' feelings? They don't give a shit about us. All right, people drag us through the mud. People always is making false accusations against Jake. No one cares. Okay, it says the task force chairman Leo Terrell, the nigga I showed you on the front page, told the Jerusalem Post that 15 city tour is designed to go to victims who need help, and they're not getting help from their local governments. That's bullshit. Okay, because these people are set up in their own communities. All right, they have their own grocery stores. They have their own banks, of course. All right, they have their own hospitals. They don't get tickets. All right, when was the last time you seen a small hat get a ticket? When was the last time you seen a small hat in a courthouse? All right, where he had a case or we had a ticket to pay for. All right, when was the last time you seen a small hat in the grocery store? You rarely see it. They got their own shit. So how the hell are they? That people are putting so much hate towards them. Okay, the move marks expansion of the task force, which was created last year and has already been involved in holding academic institutions across the U.S. to account for failures. And what they're also attacking is freedom of speech. You can't say anything. Okay, you can't say anything online. You can't say anything out in the public. All right, without these people getting offended. The move, excuse me. What's happening here is that the local district attorneys and local mayors are not persecuting hate crimes. Terrell said it's thousands upon thousands of hate crimes that go happen against our people, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, every day that go unaccounted for. They don't care. All right, they'll say, they'll tell us basically, niggas, suck it up. Okay, but them, they have, you say anything about them, you got to go to all kind of counseling. Okay, and this, I forgot the video. It was this one Amalekite woman. She was going on there talking about how they're going to persecute. They're going to, they're going to basically make your life a living hell if you say this or say that. Okay, but hey, this is the truth. What are we saying? All right, the scripture says. Let me grab that. What is that? Timothy. Let me see. Slocky. Let me look it up real quick. Galatians. Actually, Galatians 4 and verse 16. Am I therefore become your enemy because I tell you the truth? All we're doing is telling you the truth. Okay? Damn, it's another scripture. I want to get real quick. Shit, I'm just looking it up on my phone. This is no, that's not it. It's like I'll just continue reading the article. It reads, I'm coming with a full arsenal of people and bringing the Department of Labor. I'm bringing the FBI. I'm bringing resources and law enforcement, Terrell told the Jerusalem Post. And he just being a good nigga for Esau, pretty much. Okay, he's like, he's a guard dog for Esau. A guard dog at the front gate, barking and anybody that comes to that gate. That's what this nigga's gonna do. Okay, and the average bugged out nigga out there, would love this position, would love to go out there and defend Esau. All right, but do you think these devils are going to do you think these devils are going to defend this nigga? They call him a nigga right to his face and say something about it. They call him a nappy headed nigga. All right, and he ain't gonna do nothing but what he's told, or he gonna lose his position. Okay, he's gonna get voted out. It says, let me go down a little bit more because they say they're gonna go to New York, L.A. It doesn't take rocket scientists to know that there are problems in New York. He said it doesn't take rocket scientists. There's problems in Los Angeles, but in Seattle, Tacoma, and some similar cities in the Midwest, we've been in 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 un, in inundated. I've gotten calls from St. Louis because the hate crime is going on there. All right, like I said, people don't even care that much. People don't care about these people. Okay, but actually, I'm going to go to the chat on my phone because I looked it up already, and I looked up. I'm going to just read you the anti-Semitism term origins. The term anti-Semitism, also spelled anti-Semitism, was coined in 1879. It's not even a biblical term, by the German journalist and political agitator Wilhelm Marr, a German. All right, I thought the small hats didn't like the Germans, so-called the Temanites, the Germans. All right, Marr introduced the word in a pamphlet titled "Der Wing zum Sing des German Thumbs." I believe that's I think that's German, or yeah, it got to be German. The way to victory of Germanism over Judaism. He founded the League of Anti-Semites that same year. Before 1789, hostility towards Jews already existed for centuries. It was unusually based on religion prejudice, often called anti-Judaism. And these people converted to Judaism. They weren't actually Jews, all right? 1879, the new term anti-Semitism was used to describe hostility towards Jews, an ethical or racial group, rather than the primary as followers of Judaism. This reflected the rise of racial theories in 19th century Europe. All right, here's a point right here I want to make. Well, it says, although the word literally seems to refer to Semitic peoples, all right, because Semitic is not actually Semitic, it's actually Shemitic, because Noah had three sons who the world, who populated the world after the flood: Shem, Ham, and Japheth. All right, the Israelites come from the line of Shem, Shem, not Sem, not Sim, Shem. Okay, but well, I'm going to read down further. It's going to show you where that term Sem is actually derived from Latin. All right. It says, although the word literally refers to Semitic peoples, its historical and accepted meaning has always referred specifically to prejudice, discrimination, and hatred directed at Jews. It is not generally used to describe prejudice against all Semitic speaking peoples such as Arabs, Armenians, and others. But who is this? This show you how this devil has changed history, has changed words. All right. So while the anti-Jewish prejudice is thousands of years old, the specific term anti-Semitism dates to 1879. All right. So it's only, you figure the term is only about 100 and what do you say, 140 something years old or so. Okay. And I asked Chad, I said, Noah had three sons, Ham, Shem, and Japheth. Then where does Shem, well, so how do we get Sem from Shem? And of course, Chad, that's a good question. Connections come through languages and transliterations, not because Sem is a different biblical person. In Hebrew Bible, Noah's son is named Shem. When Hebrew names were translated into their languages, the spelling changed. Hebrew Shem, Greek Sem, Latin Sim. So, but we were Hebrew people, okay? We were Hebrew speaking people. Therefore, we were Hebrews. All right. It says, let me see. Here it goes. Shem equals Noah's son in most English Bibles. Semitic derived from the Latin Sem, referring to a family or languages that include Hebrews, Aramaic, Arabic, Adakian, and others. The term Semitic itself is coined by European scholars in late 18th century. So the term Sem never was is not a biblical term. It was a Sem and Semitic are not biblical terms. Okay? But you can't just take Esau's word for it like a lot of people like to do. And niggas won't even Google it. All right, niggas will just say, okay, anti-Semitic, that means this. All right, the Esau has programmed our people to not be able to critical think, not even to want to critically think and think what this means, and they'll call them the chosen people, and not know that, nigga, you are the chosen people yourself. Okay, But let me grab this because I kind of finished the article. Um, but it's a lot of it's in these last days. It's going to be a lot of Esau got a lot of Jakes out there, Israelites that's going to go out there and go to bat for them and fight for them. All right, fight for their heritage. When in all actuality, the irony of it is, um, you're fighting for Esau's heritage, which is actually your heritage. Okay, our heritage goes back to the Bible, the law, statutes, and commandments, the Torah. All right. This is Isaiah 9:16. For the leaders of this people cause them to err, and they that are led of them are destroyed. So there's a lot of Jakes that are already destroyed. Excuse me, a lot of so-called leaders out there. All right, Israelite leaders. All right, that through Christianity have destroyed our people. Through politics have destroyed our people. Okay, and they don't even and a lot of them are conscious of it. All right, but some of them aren't. They're just, this devil has put a demon on them where they're just going to follow the orders of their master Esau. Okay, even Yahawashi called these niggas devils, man. In John 8:44, ye are of your father the devil. Ye are of your John 8:44, ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father will ye will do. For he was a murderer from the beginning and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. There's no truth in Esau. All right, ain't no truth in you niggas. All right, that's going to stand up for this devil. All right, that's going to fight for this devil. Okay, when he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own. He is a liar and a father of it. Okay, so Esau has turned you niggas into liars. Okay, deceivers. All right. Um, And Ace. At the end of the day, I think about it like this: somebody got to be least in the kingdom of heaven, and start with these niggas, man. All right, these so-called religious leaders. All right, these politicians, local politicians that's Jake that just leading our people down a path of destruction. Got niggas still out there voting. All right, your local, your state, your national politicians. Or all these niggas is bought and paid for, and they're leading our people down a path of destruction. Okay, because they a lot they set up. Okay, they don't want to lose their position. All right, they don't want to lose that money. They don't want to lose that that lifestyle they live. Okay, this is Jeremiah 5 and verse 26. For among my people are found wicked men. They lay wait, and as he that setteth snares, they set traps, they catch men. All right, and that's our people. All right, and they're setting traps with their words. They're setting traps with their philosophies that they push upon our people. All right, and Jake like these simple niggas always like to see a nigga in position and talking, talking a good one, using big words. Stephen A. Smith type nigga. Okay, and and they'll fall for it hook, line, and sinker every time. Okay, and not knowing this nigga setting a trap for you. Okay, just like this. What's this nigga's name? Leo Terrell. All right, he's nothing but a Sambo nigga. That like I said, he's bought and paid for by the so-called white man. Okay. Um. Actually, let me read. Yeah, I'll continue to read. Let me see. 27. As a cage is full of birds, so are their houses full of deceit. Therefore, they are become great and waxing rich. And that's a lot of the times. That's why these niggas, they've been compromised because they want that money. It says their houses are full of deceit, and deception is one of Esau's traits. But he passed that trait on to you Israelites. Okay, we're supposed to be separate from these people. Okay, but our people have taken on the traits of this devil in order to deceive, to keep their position, to keep their status in this society. All right, let me grab this. Ecclesiastes 7:7. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, and the gift destroyeth the heart. The gift came with the money, came with the position. Okay, came with some form of false power that this devil gives you niggas. Okay, this is Proverbs 17 and Verse 23, a wicked man taketh a gift out of the bosom to pervert the ways of judgment. And that's not just, I'm not just picking on this nigga. He's just in this article, but there's a lot of Jakes out there, even Israelites, Jakes in the truth. Okay, why, they don't want to expose their father to the devil. Okay, therefore Esau gives them, whatever amount of money, whatever status, a home, a car, whatever it may be, to put a muzzle on him. Okay, so so that he won't be exposed. All right, but at the end of the day, this devil's going to be exposed, whether you niggas like it or not, whether you niggas believe it or not. Whether you could fight for this, you could set up all kind of task force and fight for him tooth and nail. The truth is going to come out. All right, and as Esau's getting exposed, you 2/3 niggas, you false preachers out there, you false leaders of Israel, y'all niggas going to get exposed too. Okay, so we're coming to the time where, where the truth is coming out. All right, and it's nothing you false leaders or you Edomites can do about it. All right, and like I said at the beginning of this lesson, it's also coming the famine of the word. And once that famine of the word hits, that's it. But we can't talk about certain talking points. We can't go into prophecy. Therefore, it's nothing to talk about. What are we going to talk about? Okay? It's going to be brother that's going to be thrown in jail. Esau's going to come down with great wrath. Okay? But at the end of the day, it's going to come a time where it's going to be like, all right, that's it. Shut down. The internet going to be shut down. All, Apostle going to send out the order. Our brothers off YouTube. Off, we tried this platform. They cracking down on channels. They finding brothers. Hey, that's it. The famine of the word. This is Amos 8:11. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, power, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord Yahawah. And they shall wander from sea to sea, from the north even to the east, and they shall run to and fro to seek the word of the Lord, and shall not find it. They're going to be searching high and low, okay, because they listen to a nigga like this, like the nigga I showed you earlier, all right, which is not giving you no answers, which is telling you, going out and trying to persecute those that speak or say anything about the so-called J. In that day shall the fair virgins and the young men faint for thirst of the truth, thirst of knowledge. Okay, so Lord, willing, this lesson was edifying unto the hopeful elect. I want to give all praise, glory, and honor unto Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Harakakwadash, Shalom.